Good evening again, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do the usual disclaimers, yes, I apologize for my appearance. Yes, we're going straight through because I want to get these videos done. I deserve a full day. In the description box, you're going to find a link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It's written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much, they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused, folks, so you know the drill. Please read that article and share it on all your social media. Also included in there is NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding in case the JRC actually sees through with their threat. Also included in there, Ozark's first article regards to the Agape boarding school, now known as Stone for Help boarding school situation, a so-called Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled male teens that has impending over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it, all which have been substantiated by the Missouri Department of Social Services, and they include the following: sodomy, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation, and that's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, the other a doctor, with full access to the boys upon multiple, again, substantiated claims of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault the boys there. You have an attorney general too busy chasing after drag queens and trying and failing to defund public libraries to actually do his job. And you got a governor off his nut, so please seek help. Read that article, share it on all your social media. Also included as well the pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including the link to this analysis done by Dr. Fredda Brown back in 1999, Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, Jennifer Masemba's behavioral sheet of shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory Change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, folks, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of peoples with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you do got young children present, please, folks, headphones are advised. Trigger warning, this channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously, parental supervision is advised. Alright, so back to where we left it off, and hopefully it's short and sweet. Communication skills. Although the IEP states that teachers should wait for naturally occurring activities and prompts to have the student sign, this was not observed. Get 'em. Shots fired. Shots fired. So from what Dr. Fredda Brown observed is that when in a situation where, as a nonverbal, signing would be appropriate and actually has context to the real world, it wasn't observed. It never happened. Who's surprised, right? After all, does the JRC actually want their kids to be communicating what's really going on? Yeah. About that, right? About that. X did use the bathroom one time during the observation, but she was not instructed on how to use the bathroom sign. So again, in a situation where signing to the teacher as to what's going on would actually be pertinent to the real world, it didn't happen. Who's surprised? Similarly, no instances of instruction on signing food was observed when she was giving edible reinforcers. Who's surprised? There was no shaping, modeling, or prompting strategies that were observed by this consultant. So what are we seeing here, folks? Again, I told you this particular video was going to be short and sweet. In situations where signing as a form of communication in a way that would have context in the real world, especially once one graduates high school, is not being prompted. They are not being encouraged to use sign as a means of communication in everyday activities in which they would actually be useful. So when the JRCs, but we're preparing them to go out there in the world. Really? Really? Because you're having stellar opportunities in which to reinforce those skills of signing, and you are not using them. This reminds me in particular of the incident when a deaf child was shocked continually because they were not making, they were deaf and nonverbal, but they were expecting vocal responses, and when they didn't get it, they shocked the kid. These people don't know what they're doing, and they're getting federally funded. Digest that and think on it. We're going to close out on that, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time, so don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, don't forget to hit the comments. For the next video, I do see the next paragraph we are going to digest is pretty long, so we're probably going to cut it in half between two videos. I do appreciate your time, folks. As always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I will see you in a few minutes.